Yo, what is going on, everybody? I'm your host, Zack Foltz, and thank you for listening to the After the Bell podcast. I just want to thank you all for the continuous support that I've gotten over this last week. It's just been outrageous, so I just want to thank you so much. I've been getting people coming up to me and just saying that this is a great idea and that I should continue on doing it. And I honestly did not think this podcast would amount to anything. So once again, thank you all for your support. Let's keep this podcast going. And this thank you overall. It's been amazing. My guest here today on the After the Bell podcast, you might know him for being pretty good at math and gaming all the time. I've known him since the first grade. Ladies and gentlemen, Nathan. Nathan, how are you doing, man? It's good to have you here.
Thanks for having me, Zach. I'm doing pretty good. Today's been pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good myself. I'm glad to have you on the show. I mean, what better way to kick off the beginning of this podcast than to have my good friend here? So, yeah, thanks for asking. All right, Nathan, let's start off this podcast with some school-related questions. You down?
Let's do it.
All right, so let's start off with your opinion on the school this year. What's one thing you think the school can try and improve on and do better? And what do you think one thing is that they're doing right now that is good and should continue doing in the future?
I think one of the things that they're doing good in the school today is that they're keeping kids 6 feet away from each other, and they're not in groups for more than 15 minutes because COVID and all that. They're not trying to get they're not trying for everyone to get COVID and stuff. And I think one thing that they should change is the what is it called, dress code. So that I don't see why we can't wear pajama pants. It's honestly sometimes it's comfortable to wear some pajama pants and maybe the hat roll too. I don't see a
Exactly.
problem with wearing hats.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree with what you said was good, keeping people apart from one another, trying to, keep COVID as low as possible in the district. That's definitely a good thing. And then I agree with what you said on the dress code. I mean, I don't see why we can't be wearing pajama pants. I mean, tons of people around in the school that wear them. I mean, I guess they're just want people to be more professional looking or something. I'm not sure, but I definitely agree with what you said on that. And with hats, definitely same here. I definitely don't see a problem with that. Obviously they say that it's for intruder purposes, but why would an intruder wear a hat? They'd usually wear a hood with a mask. I mean,
Yeah, they would usually wear some type of full face mask to hide their identity.
yeah, exactly. It's just interesting with the dress code. Hopefully they can, update that sometime. But yeah, Nathan, definitely a good thing that you can change and keep. So moving on here, Nathan, let's go on to another school-related topic. What is your favorite subject this year, and why do you think it's such a good subject?
I think math class is probably my favorite because I just get in the classroom and it's really easy and I get everything done within the 10-15 minutes, and it just feels so amazing to be in math class sometimes.
I feel that definitely. Our math teacher really is nice too. I mean, she gets the lessons done, stuff like that. So yeah, just overall a great class. I come stumbling in there though sometimes when coming back from wit, having to do all of this stuff. Just stumbling into
Mister, forget your
class and
lunchbox.
yeah, exactly. I forget my lunchbox there and or my water bottle all the time. Just interesting, and then I have to run all the way back down to the gym to grab it, come back. It's yeah. Um, but yeah, definitely math class really is a great class. I also love ELA class, social studies, and science class. So don't think I'm leaving all of those out. Those classes are amazing. Our classes overall this year are just really fun, great. Just good to be back without anything. No
Yeah, it's
masks,
good.
no
It's good to have a full.
restrictions.
Yeah, it's good to have a full class this year. Have
Oh,
everyone you knew a few years ago to be in your class, and just
exactly.
to see them again is awesome.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, with that hybrid schedule we had, we only had like 14 kids in a class at once. I mean, obviously that year was still fun. We made new friends, but I feel like the more you meet new friends, the more you miss old friends. So, gotta reunite with those at some point, and I'm glad we're able to do that this year.
Yeah, same here.
All right, Nathan, well, let's move on to another topic here. How about you say we talk a little bit about some entertainment things and what you've been watching recently?
Sure.
All right, Nathan. So, what are some things you've been watching recently? I mean, I know you love to watch some in particular shows. So, let's see what your answer is. What have you been watching recently?
Probably the top of my list is The Walking Dead, and then I've watched some other here and there movies like horror movies and some comedy movies, but usually it's The Walking Dead.
Yeah, definitely. The Walking Dead's a great show. Well, speaking of The Walking Dead, how about we take a quiz here and let's figure out what character you are in The Walking Dead the most. You down?
Sure.
All right, first question here, Nathan. How would your friends describe you before the apocalypse? Kind, nurturing, sweet, or guarded?
Guarded. 100%
Guarded.
guarded.
All right, awesome. Moving on here. What would you have been if the apocalypse never happened? You have survivalist, a stay-at-home parent. That would be interesting. You should be a stay-at-home parent. An art curator or a police officer.
A police officer.
A police officer. All right. Next question here. What's the first thing you do when zombies attack? Get out of town, hide, stock up on some weapons, or get your family?
Stock up on some weapons.
Stock up on some weapons. All right. But where would you go? The coast, the city, the forest, or home?
The city.
The city. All right, wise answer. What's one thing you would bring with you? A family heirloom, a gun, money, or a picture album?
A gun.
A gun. Choosing the violent option. All right. Which of these is most important to you during a zombie apocalypse? Medical supplies, weapons, food and water, or shelter?
Shelter.
Shelter. All right, moving on here. What kind of weapon has your name all over it? A sword, a knife, a crossbow, or a gun?
A gun.
A gun. Once again, the most violent option. Holy crap. Which of these vehicles would you ride around in during the apocalypse? A horse, a motorcycle, walking, or a minivan?
Probably a horse.
A horse. All right, moving on here. Which of these locations do you think could have lasted the test of time? Alexandria, the prison, Herschel's farm, or the road? Keep moving and you won't get caught.
Probably Alexandria.
Alexandria, wise answer. How open are you to strangers joining your group? I let them join, but I keep two eyes on them. I'm pretty open to it. I'm very wary of new people, or I test them before they can join.
I let them join, but I keep two eyes on them.
Good answer. All right, moving on here. What job would you take up in your group of zombie survivors? The protector, the counselor, scavenger, or the chef?
The protector.
The protector. All right, moving on. Good answer. A friend of yours was bitten by a zombie. What would you do next? Tie them up, walk away from them, try to save them, or kill them before they turn?
Try to save them.
Try to save them. Great answer. Trying to keep your friends alive. All right, a walker starts chasing you. What would you do? Cut off its head, leave it alone, stab it, or shoot it?
Stab it.
Stab it. Great answer. Not shooting it. I was expecting you to say shoot it because all the other answers have gun in it.
Gotta save the bullet, dude.
True. Which villain was the most formidable in the show? Negan, the governor, Terminus hunters, or the walkers?
Probably Negan.
Negan. Interesting.
I
All
mean,
right,
it's
next.
usually a close call between the governor and Negan, but I feel like Negan had a bigger role.
You're right, definitely. Next question here. Which character would you kill off if you could? Negan, Rosita, Father Gabriel, or Eugene?
Oh man.
Hmm.
Oh man, that's a tough one. I mean, anybody in there with a sensible mind would go Negan, but Negan has good potential.
Mm-hmm.
Eugene is a really smart guy. Rosita, and then we have Father Gabriel.
Who's it gonna be?
I'd kill off Rosita.
Rosita, wow. And why?
Because she's only good with combat, and I think I would rather have someone who's smart and can think ahead than someone who can fight.
Definitely, I can feel that. Alright, which of these characters did you mourn the most in the show when they were lost? Lori, Glenn,
Glenn.
Beth?
Glenn.
Glenn! Wow, right off the bat, Glenn. Oh,
Glenn.
wow.
Wait. Oh man, was Carl on that list?
No.
All
Carl
right,
was
yeah, then
not on the list. Good one.
I'm just gonna go with Glenn.
All right, Glenn. Next question here. Which of these quotes are you most likely to say? So much has happened, so much that we shouldn't have lived through, and despite it, or maybe because of it, we did. We're still here. I couldn't lose anyone. I couldn't lose any of them. I couldn't lose you. Look, whatever it is you're holding on to, it's already gone, man. Wake the hell up. I'm going to kill you. All of you. Maybe not today. Maybe not
That one,
tomorrow.
that one, that one, that one. That one's
That
nice. I
one.
like that one.
There we go. All right,
I'm
well,
gonna kill you. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but I'm gonna kill you.
wow. All right, well, next question here. What will you do when all the walkers are defeated? Find a nice big plot of land to raise a family, travel, grab a position of power, or help other survivors?
Family. Family's first.
Definitely family first. All right, what kind of zombie, if you were infected, would you be? A hungry one, a mischievous one, an angry one, or a ditzy one?
A ditzy one, I don't know.
A ditzy one, okay. Well, which word best describes you, Nathan? Tough, intelligent, resourceful, or cunning?
Well, if this is finding your character, right?
Yes.
Tough.
Tough, alright. Well, are you a very trusting person? I used to be, no, not very. You have to prove yourself to get my trust, or I pretend to trust easily, but I don't.
You have to prove yourself to trust.
Okay, interesting. Who is the most important person in your life, Nathan? Your spouse, your kids, your friends, or yourself? If you say spouse or kids, I'm gonna have to question you on that.
I'm gonna say friends, actually.
Friends. Okay,
Thinking back.
good
Yeah.
answer. Alright, well, what are your friends like? They're just like you, they're resilient people, they can be very annoying, me, or they're not very much like me, but I love them.
What was the first one?
They're just like you.
Just like you. Just like
They're
you.
just like you. Alright, interesting. Well, what's the most important thing to have in a friend? Loyalty, understanding, a strong moral compass, or compassion?
Compassion.
Compassion. Good one. Alright, well, we are almost done this quiz here. Let's get the final group of questions done. In your group of friends, who are you? The leader, second in command, the bad boy, or the sweetheart?
The leader.
The leader. Alright, what kind of people annoy you the most? The know-it-alls, the prissy people, the pretentious people, or the bossy people?
The pretentious.
The pretentious people. What scares you the most? Being unsuccessful, being useless, being rejected, or being afraid?
Being useless.
Being useless. Alright, well, final three questions here. What is your current relationship status? Widowed, in a relationship, single, or divorced?
Widowed?
Widowed. Interesting. Alright, what is your favorite holiday? Thanksgiving, Halloween, Christmas, or Independence Day?
Independence Day.
Independence Day. Final question here, Nathan. Which of these animals would you want to be? A tiger, a wolf, a bear, or a fox?
A fox.
A
Sneaky like that.
fox. I feel that foxes are pretty sneaky. Alright, well, let's see what your results are. And you got Rick Grimes, Nathan, your favorite character.
Let's go. I mean, I wouldn't say he's my favorite, but he's definitely up there.
Alright, interesting. Well, it says you are the good cop turned bad and the fearless leader, Rick Grimes. Like Rick, you used to believe in good in people, but lots of things have enlightened you to the true intentions of people, making you a little bit less naive and a lot more guarded, especially when it comes to the ones you love. You are determined, strong, physically and mentally, and there's nothing you won't do for anyone you hold dear. Good
Yeah.
options, Nathan. You got one of your favorite characters. Good job. Alright, Nathan, well, moving on to some more generic questions. Let's go on to some questions that people probably won't care that much about. Alright, Nathan, what is your favorite food?
Well, I mean, I love my mozzarella sticks. I'll eat them anywhere, any day, anytime. But yeah, actually, probably mozzarella sticks. I mean, they're good almost anywhere as long as they're not overcooked or undercooked. They're perfect. It's literally the best thing ever.
I feel that mozzarella sticks are really good. All right, well, moving on, Nathan. What is your favorite season out of all four, and why?
Well, hmm. Winter is really cold this year, so I'm not gonna go with winter because I don't like the cold. But
I feel that.
spring is spring is usually cold as well, but it's not as cold as winter. So I'm gonna go with summer because it's like off school, it's outside, it's nice and warm.
Definitely.
It's really nice to be in.
Yeah, good answer. I feel that summer's really nice. My personal favorite season has to be probably fall or spring. Fall probably dominates everything else. I just like the temperatures are very nice. I mean, school's starting back up, so I get to see my friends. Get to do sports stuff like that. So yeah, I think that's probably my favorite season thus far.
Makes
Um,
sense. It makes sense.
yeah. All right. Well, moving on here. Let's talk about some sports. You down?
Sure.
All right, well, Nathan, well, obviously starting off with sports, we're going to have to ask you here. What is your favorite sports team in the NFL?
In the NFL, well, my parents are big Ravens fans, so I'm just gonna go with them. I'm gonna go with Ravens.
Ravens, yeah, definitely. Probably my second favorite team. First favorite team, I'm not really sure. I'm honestly not quite sure what to pick for that one. Obviously, I'm a big Steelers fan. I'm a big Ravens fan. I'm not quite sure. I don't really pick favorites, obviously. So I just like every team for what they do. Obviously, putting their life on the line for football. Kind of sounding nerdy
Yeah.
right now. I apologize. Um, Nathan, what's your favorite team in the NBA and why?
So I would probably say the Warriors because they have Klay Thompson and Steph Curry, and they're like pretty big players and also really good at what they do.
Yeah, definitely. Steph Curry, obviously one of the greatest scorers in the NBA thus far. Klay Thompson getting back from an injury, doing great thus far, scoring a good amount of points. Yeah, definitely great answers. So yeah, I definitely can agree with you on both of those teams, Ravens and Warriors. Great teams, great sports teams. Definitely doing a lot when it comes to the sports franchise, sports entertainment, stuff like that. So yeah, great answers. All right, Nathan. Well, let's think about some things you'd want to do when you get a little older and become an adult. So, what job do you want to pursue in the future? Like, what's your number one thing that you want to do when you grow up?
Well, definitely. When I turn 18, I want to enlist in the military. It's been one of my goals for a while,
Wow.
and I plan to make it there and spend a few years in the military, maybe overseas, maybe just somewhere stationary. And then after that, maybe be an on duty police officer. Anything to serve my country, really.
Serving your country, good for you, man. I mean, that's just great. I'm happy that you are probably, I'd say, very enthusiastic about that and want to do it because we don't have that many people that want to do it anymore. They just do it. And they're not really too happy doing it. So I'm glad that we have somebody here that is wanting to do it and is happy on what they're going to do. So, yeah, serving the country, that's going to be awesome. Good for you, man. I'm glad that you're going to want to do that when you grow up.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, of course, man. All right, Nathan. Well, obviously, I've known you for a good while now, so let's talk about some good memories we've had back in first grade and going on up to eighth grade now. So, what are your biggest memories of us, or just entirely just first grade all the way up to now since we've met?
So I remember in one of the things that I remember in first grade. Remember in Mrs. Groff's class? It was like that split classroom where you could like that wall was able to like move.
I do, yes, I do, definitely.
Remember every single time somebody would go through that classroom, we would call him a ghost.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Um, what class did you have in second grade again?
I had Mrs. Ross.
Oh, I had Mr. Eltz. I remember when we did that school teacher class competition. He was able to dunk. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that really was cool. Even though I wasn't there, I could still say if a teacher can dunk, well, I'm kind of showing off, but well,
Yeah, he would like come in the room every single morning and he'd be like, "Yo, look at my wrist, dude. I've been dunking all night after school and I've been learning how to dunk." And his like wrist would be all red because he was dunking.
that's funny. Yeah, that's
So
cool.
what do you remember about first grade all the way up to eighth?
In first grade, I remember walking. Me and I haven't known this guy. I didn't know this guy. His name's Tyler. So, great dude, by the way. We're gonna he actually in our homeroom classes this year, so it's funny. So it was me. I walked into class, and obviously we were first graders back then, so it was the cringiest year of our lives. We were doing cringy things all the time. So I just go in and I just start like singing a wrestling theme song, and I don't know why, but Tyler started singing along, and I'm like, it just went on from there, and dude, it was cringy. I'll say I'll say that it's really cringy and hard
Some
for me to
some
talk
people
about
say
it.
friends meet in the weirdest ways though.
True, but still, thinking a wrestling theme song. Uh, so yeah, that's my first grade memory. I remember back, I think it was actually that same year. There were like a ton of ants near my desk because I'm still a sloppy eater, by the way. I'm a sloppy eater.
Yeah, you would eat a Pop Tart in class and it'd like go everywhere.
That's this year. That's not first grade. I don't want to hear it.
Well, you just said you're still a sloppy eater and like you still eat sloppy. I mean,
Okay, not as much though. Not as much. I used to like. There
I
used to be
bet you
like.
if I walk up to your math desk, I can find a lot of crumbs from the Pop Tart you ate last week.
That's just because Pop Tarts are good, man. I'm sorry, but. Um.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
have one
I
every
mean.
single day.
Yeah, because they're good. I can't help
I
that.
can't lie, they're pretty good.
Yeah, definitely. I'd say going off of that, the ants, they were just everywhere. And since it was near my desk, I had to clean it up because, obviously I was the one who made those ants come in here in the first place. And me not wanting to, pick up the ants, because, like, she literally wanted me to do, like, and there were, like, tons of ants, hundreds of ants, literally. Um, she wanted me to, like, literally save them all. Like, I couldn't stomp on them. And me being stupid enough, stomped on them. And that was in the front of the class. I was in the back of the class. The teacher and the other students were in the front of the class, and she was reading a book to them. And I stomped the bug, and at that point, I'm like, okay, I just don't care anymore. So I kept doing it. The teacher looks, Zach, go flip your card. That's not what I told you to do. I'm like, oh crap, I just got busted. So, and you know how every single young person from elementary school just hates flipping their card. And,
Yeah, it's like the worst feeling ever.
I swear to God, bro, the people that have never flipped their card, I know people that literally never flip their card a day in elementary school. I'm just like, how? How is that possible? Humanly possible for you to not flip your card? I'm like, what? Why? How? When? Where? Like, I wish I could be that person, but at the same time,
You get in trouble for the stupidest stuff. Like you'd be sitting there looking at the wall, thinking of what you're gonna have later for dinner, and then you go be
mm-hmm,
told to flip the card.
exactly. Dude, a funny story about me flipping my card. I was in kindergarten, and I had recently watched a video. I remember this so vividly, it's not even funny. I watched a video, and the video said sometimes yes means no, or sometimes no means yes, because obviously it does. It does. So, me being stupid, being a kindergartner, walked into class. I was rocking my chair, and I remembered that video. And my teachers told me, "Do you want to flip your card?" I said, "Yes." I'm like, so, and then she actually told me to go flip my card, and I'm like, Oh, we have a
I think I
problem
remember
here.
that. I think I remember that.
We have a problem here. So I go over to like the back of the class near the card flipping thing, and I'm like sobbing. I'm literally sobbing, and I remember my words literally. I said, "But I watched a video, and it said sometimes yes means no, or sometimes no means yes." But I couldn't get the words out. So like I was just standing there, and the teacher was just like telling me to flip my card, and I was like so sad after that. And
Do you
I
know
don't
what?
know
You
about
know, worse than getting your card flipped, having
what.
everybody stare at you while your card's
Literally,
like going up. It's like the walk of shame.
honestly, bro, it's just, it's scary. It's like you're going up and these people are just staring at you. I feel like I'm about to get like crucified or baptized.
I remember one
Um,
time in third grade, there was this girl. I'm not gonna say any names, but she went to go sit down, and I pulled her chair away,
oh
and it was
no.
the loudest crashing noise I've ever heard. Everybody got up, and it sounded like someone got shot in the elementary school. It was so loud. The teacher was confused, and I was trying to hold back my laughter, and I was acting confused. I was like, "Well, what was that?"
Oh, I did that one time. I did that actually 2 years ago. In fifth, no, it was sixth. It was fifth grade. I did that in fifth grade. So I don't know if you remember a music teacher in fifth grade or not, but I pulled this chair out of. It was a girl too, because I sat next to a girl, and she said at the beginning, and I completely forgot about this. You do not pull the chair out of anybody, like, cause like that would be, it was bad, and obviously me not forgetting that I wanted to pull a joke, so I pulled this girl's chair back while she was like she was in a standing position, like crouching over on this other person
Yeah.
talking to them. She comes back, tries to sit on her chair. I'm like, oopsies, I forgot about that. And the teacher says that's gonna be an office referral, and I'm like, nope, my life's over. I'm just gonna go now. And yeah, basically I was shivering out of my boots for the rest of that day, not knowing what the heck's gonna happen. It was interesting. And then I remember another time, it was, crap. I'm not sure how long ago it was or what grade it was, but I was, obviously this is still elementary school, and we had this card flip system still, obviously, before we went into the intermediate. So I was obviously doing my PSSAs. We were doing the PSSAs, and like you know how that one kid every time during the PSSA just like either throws up or gets a bloody nose.
Oh my God! There's always that one kid who does something, and it gets the whole class worried, and then everyone starts laughing or something. There's always
Yeah.
something there's always something that happens. Always.
Well, that kid in third grade was me, and
Ooh.
I got a bloody nose. And it was a bad bloody nose, I'll say. It just came out of nowhere. I'm like, what's happening? Why am I getting a bloody nose? So I go up and tell my teacher, I have a bloody nose. And so I go to the nurse's office. And there were more people in that nurse's office than I thought. I thought it was going to be an empty nurse's office, obviously, since it was the PSSA. The principal at that school took us there, obviously. So we went there. I had to do all that. I come back to class. I have to finish my PSSA. And the topic of discussion for me the rest of that day, I got a bloody nose during the PSSA and didn't have to do it for the majority of the time. Booyah! Um, yeah, it was interesting. Yeah, you have any
I
other
remember.
things you want to
I
share? Go
remember
ahead.
one time in, what was it, sixth grade, before pre-lockdown. Um, I was it was what was it, science or math class. I pulled my friend's chair away, and he fell and hit his head. And he went
You,
to the
you,
nurse's office
you,
later
you
that day.
just, I'm sorry, sorry to interrupt, but you just love pulling chairs out from people, don't you?
Yeah, but that kid went to the nurse's office, and I ended up getting, what was it called? In school suspension. And let me tell
Yikes.
you, in school suspension, you know, it's not a great thing to get on your reputation, but it is honestly so fun because it's just so peaceful. Like you can get
You're
your work
that
done in
you
30
like
minutes.
that? You like that?
I loved that it was so peaceful. I mean,
I I
I didn't like
uh,
pushing his chair away. I mean, it was funny, but
I hated
I
in-school
didn't like that.
suspension. My first year of in-school suspension, I had obviously the assistant principal in the intermediate school at that time. Um, yeah, it was you know, painful because I walked into ISS. First off, I skipped it for a day. It was meant to be my day, and I didn't want to skip it because
Ooh.
we had gym that day, and the teachers completely forgot until I was out of gym class, and then she talked to me about it. I'm like, oh crap, I got caught. So nothing really came out of that. I just got my in-school suspension pushed back for another couple days. And then I went into ISS. Dude, when I tell you I started crying, I was scared. And looking around and seeing all these people in grades higher than me, it was like, oh no, 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 no. I'm about to get killed. These people are gonna like beat me with their books. I'm like, uh-oh.
The kid's chair that I pushed away in sixth grade. Me and him are now like best friends. We're really close to each other. We hang out sometimes at school. Um, honestly, it's really cool that things you can do honestly might get you some friends. It could do anything.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but like after that in school suspension I had, the kids in like I think they were in like seventh grade at that time. They just like started waving to me in the hallway whenever I saw them. And like I wasn't the one waving at first. I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I got friends with them. It was interesting, but yeah, at the end ISS did seem really fun. I don't know why.
ISS is very peaceful. I
It
mean,
I
I definitely don't want to get it again, but it is very peaceful.
in my ISS we had like a kid at that time, and his name's Chase, not the Chase that you and I are thinking of. Um, but it was a different Chase, and he actually plays the piano. Great piano player, by the way. He's awesome. Every time we have a recital, we go and get to see him because I play and then he plays. So it's interesting, and he's a great piano player. Um, but I had him, and I was allowed to go back there. I literally went back there, and like I was able to help him, and I was getting help from this teacher, and it just felt good to have people actually there with me, and not have to be over in like the bad kid area. And then I remember doing this one thing. I had to do a Kahoot, and I was making a Kahoot for my teacher so she could share it out, and it was awesome because at that same time I was not told to make the Kahoot. Literally, all I was told to is to like brainstorm ideas. I pushed the boundaries, got on the computer that they had in that room and did the Kahoot. And then the teacher comes in and is like, "You're not allowed to be doing that Kahoot. You know that, right?" I'm like, no, nope, I didn't know that. I'm logging off right now. Nope, I'm sorry, sorry, sorry. I didn't mean it. Didn't mean it at all. um,
You're such a genius when it comes to computers.
I
I
just
just
snuck
can't
it.
believe you're such a genius. As in my eyes, you're such a genius. You're so smart with computers.
I'm really not though. That's the
What do you
thing.
mean you're really not, bro? I
I
don't
I
even know how to do
I
half the stuff you know how to do.
I know a lot about computers, but people think that I can like code a lot. I can design a big video game that's gonna blow up. I can't do that. Like people think that I'm not the smartest. I just know how to do the basic things. Like even I myself have to look up things to figure out how to do them. And sometimes it doesn't work. So, even like I'm not the smartest, but I'm up there, but people think I'm way more smarter than I actually am. So, yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, definitely, definitely. Speaking of like foolish acts and stuff, I remember when I was in kindergarten. I was friends with this one kid.
Uh
Um,
oh.
and he was doing this pretty cool trick with scissors. All
Oh,
right,
I know where this is
and
going.
it was like scissors and a pencil, and he put the pencil between one of like the finger things, the finger grip holes, and he was spinning the scissors around. And I was like, that's pretty cool. Some of the other class is doing it, so I started doing it, and I was doing pretty good. It was getting some speed. It was doing nice,
Oh
and
no.
it somehow Houdini'd, and the scissors detached from my pencil and flew way off into space.
Oh
And
no.
it ended up hitting the kid's head. All right, it hit his
Oh,
head, and he was crying for like a long while, and I had to flip my car to like orange or something. It was a
yikes.
really bad day.
Oh,
Uh, he was crying for a while. It was so. Looking back on it, it was so funny. It was just a good time, to be honest.
Oh man. Yeah, definitely. That does seem pretty funny, but at the same time, you gotta feel bad for him. I mean, you just hit him in the head with a sharp object.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it wasn't. It was doll scissors. It was like the.
The
It was
little
the
kid
scissors that we
ones.
use now. It
Yeah.
wasn't sharp.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Nathan, last time on the After the Bell podcast, me and Cameron faced off in some football trivia, and Cameron got 70% of those answers correct. Do you think you can get more than 7 questions correct in this American Revolution trivia question quiz?
I don't think I can, but we're still gonna try.
Let's try. These questions are a little hard, but we were learning about this year, so let's see if you were actually paying attention in social studies this year. Alright, Nathan, number 1 here. Who was the American Revolutionary War fought against? Your options are Spain, France, Mexico, or Great Britain.
Great Britain.
Is Great Britain correct? Great Britain is correct. The American Revolutionary War from 1775 to 1783 was initiated by the delegates from the 13 American colonies against Great Britain over their objection to Parliament's taxation policies and lack of colonial representation. Wow. Alright, well, first question correct. You're on a pretty good start so far, Nathan. Number 2. Which act of Parliament was responsible for the tensions that eventually led to American Revolution? The Stamp Act, the Textiles Act, the Firearms Act, or the Customs Act?
The Stamps Act.
Is the Stamp Act correct? The Stamp Act's correct! The Stamp Act of 1765 imposed a direct tax on the British colonies in America and required that many printed materials in the colonies should be produced on stamped paper produced in London. Printed materials subject to the Stamp Act included legal documents, magazines, playing cards, newspapers, and many other types of paper used throughout the colonies. The Stamp Act was very unpopular amongst colonists, most of whom considered it a violation of their rights as Englishmen to be taxed without their consent. 2 correct so far, Nathan. All you need is 5 more correct to tie with Cameron. Number 3 here. The Boston Massacre started with an agreement over a pig, a wig, a flag, or a gun.
Start that again?
The Boston Massacre started with a disagreement over a pig, a wig, a flag, or a gun.
Is there any hints on this?
There are no hints. This is trivia right from the book.
I'm gonna say a gun. I don't remember this.
Was it a gun? Incorrect. Alright, down to 3 more. A pig, a wig, or a flag?
Pig, a wig, or a flag? Definitely not a wig. A flag, sure, why not? Flag.
A flag, is that correct? A flag is incorrect. Alright,
So
well
it's
you
probably
ruled.
a pig.
Is it a pig? It is not, it's a wig! It all
What?
started with a wig. A wig maker's apprentice, 13-year-old Edward Garrick, accused a British officer, Captain Lieutenant John Goldfinch, of refusing to pay his master's bill. Tensions escalated, and British troops fired on Rock, throwing civilians, killing 5.
Definitely do not
and
remember
Luck
this
Katie.
part. I remember riots starting and then they got shot.
That's what I remember too. Alright, number 4 here, Nathan. 1 incorrect so far. 3 out of 4. Let's see if you can get this next one correct. What future U.S. president served as the defense lawyer for the British soldiers involved in the Boston Massacre? We have Thomas Jefferson and James
Thomas
Madison.
Jefferson.
Is Thomas Jefferson correct? Incorrect, Nathan. Alright, down to 3 more options. James Madison, James Monroe, or John Adams?
James Madison, then.
James Madison is incorrect. Is it James
John Adams,
Monroe?
John
Is
Adams.
it John Adams? John Adams is correct. 8 soldiers, 1 officer, and 4 civilians were arrested and charged with murder, and they were defended by future U.S. President John Adams. 6 of the soldiers were acquitted. The other 2 were convicted of manslaughter but granted reduced sentences from a pleading benefit of clergy, which reduced their punishment from the death sentence to the branding of a thumb. in an open court. Number
Wow, I'm
5,
learning more than
Nathan.
I did in class.
Well, I mean, maybe I can be a teacher, but that's probably not going to happen. All right, number 5 here, Nathan. In what city did American colonists famously dump an entire shipment of East India Company tea into the harbor? This one's easy.
Austin.
Boston is correct. The Boston Tea Party was a political protest in defiance of the Tea Act of May 10th, 1773. Protesters destroyed an entire shipment of tea sent by the East India Company. That is 1, 2, 3, 4. No, that's only 3 correct, Nathan. And we have, how many is this? 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 questions left, Nathan. That means 3 plus 5. All right, Nathan. You have 3 correct so far. 5 questions left. If you get every single one of these correct, you are the new leader in scores for the trivia portion of After the Bell. Are you ready?
Absolutely not. I really think I'm not going to get all of these correct, but let's do it.
All right. Let's see. This is a little hard one right here. Which secret revolutionary organization was responsible for the Boston Tea Party? The Sons of Liberty, the Sons of Revolution, the Sons of Freedom, or the Sons of Anarchy?
So go through the question again and go through the answers.
What secret revolutionary organization was responsible for the Boston Tea Party? Sons of Liberty, Sons of Revolution, Sons of Freedom, or Sons of Anarchy?
Sons of Liberty, I'm pretty sure.
Is it Sons of Liberty? Sons of Liberty is correct! The Sons of Liberty was founded by Samuel Adams to fight taxation by the British government. Their motto became, "No taxation without representation." You remember that, Nathan.
I do.
Alright, number 7. What did protesters disguise themselves as at the Boston Tea Party? Dock workers, Native Americans, women, or British soldiers?
Go through that again.
What did protesters disguise themselves as the Boston Tea Party? Dock workers, Native Americans, women, or British soldiers?
Native Americans.
Is Native Americans correct? It is! The names of many of those involved in the Boston Tea Party remain unknown, thanks to their Native American costumes. Only one of the Tea Party culprits, Francis Ackley, was arrested and imprisoned. Number 8, Nathan, you need 3 more correct to beat Cameron here. Number 8 here, Nathan, you need all 3 of these to get the lead and beat Cameron here at trivia. It says, what punitive laws were passed by the British Parliament in response to the Boston Tea Party? The Diabolical Acts, the Vindicative Acts, the Intolerable Acts, or the Malicious Acts?
Intolerable Acts.
Is it the Intolerable Acts? It is! The Intolerable Acts, referred to as the Coercive Acts in Great Britain, were meant to punish the Massachusetts colonists for their defiance in the Boston Tea Party protest. The acts took away self-governance and rights that Massachusetts had enjoyed since its founding, triggering outrage and indignation of the 13 colonies. Alright, Nathan, 2 more correct here to get the lead. Which of the Intolerable Acts required Americans to house British soldiers? The Homestead Act, the Bedfellow Act, the Quartering Act, the Lodging Act? The Quartering Act is correct. The Quartering Act applied to all of the colonies and sought to create a more effective method of housing British troops in America. It allowed a governor to house soldiers in other buildings if suitable quarters were not provided. While many sources claim that the Quartering Act allowed troops to occupy private homes, historian David Ammerman's study in 1974 claimed that this is a myth, and that the act only permitted troops to be quartered in unoccupied buildings. Number 10, Nathan, you can get this all if you get this last question correct. Do you think you can do it?
I think I can. I think I got it.
Alright, number 10, Nathan. What pamphlet did Thomas Payne publish advocating American independence from Great Britain? Is it The Profiles in Courage, Common Sense, The Federalist Papers, or The Social Contract? This is so intense. This is way too intense.
Common sense. Common sense.
Is it common sense? Is it common sense? It is!
Suck on that, Cameron.
Oh! Trash talking. Trash talk. Yikes. Number 10. It says Common Sense was a 47-page pamphlet published anonymously on January 10th, 1776. It became an immediate sensation and was read aloud at taverns and meeting places. Historian Gordon S. Wood described Common Sense as the most incendiary and popular pamphlet of the entire Revolutionary era. Nathan, you just beat Cameron.
Bro, that's nice. So what am I up top now?
You are
Someone has to
number
beat me.
one. You have to be beat. No, my lord. You got, how many is that? 8 out of 10. 80% correct. If I'm correct, you just beat Cameron by 10%. That's crazy. Congratulations, Nathan.
Oh, that's gonna be a big topic at school tomorrow.
Ho ho ho. It really is. Alright, Nathan, thank you so much for coming here on After the Bell. It was so great having you. We had a great conversation, played some great trivia games, took a quiz, figured out that you are pretty good at Walking Dead quizzes. So thank you so much for coming, Nathan, and I'm so glad that you were able to make it tonight.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Zach. This was a wonderful experience I had. I hope to do it again sometime or something. But thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course, man. We could definitely do it again sometime in the future. It would be great to have you back on. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for the After the Bell podcast. I've been your host, Zack Foltz. Thank you guys so much for listening and tuning in. Thank you once again for all of your support, and we will see you next week. Peace out.
Peace out. Perfect.